From my perspective, an innovative learning environment is where every learner, the young people and the adults who work with them, they're intellectually engaged, they're socially engaged, they're emotionally engaged.
An innovative learning environment is a place where we're constantly trying to improve learning outcomes for young people, but not just doing better. We need to think about doing learning differently.
Innovative learning environment is not necessarily one thing. There isn't a set definition. The important thing is not that it is innovative. The important thing is that it succeeds in creating learners who are capable of succeeding in their century, in their time, and in their context.
Knowledge is growing at an exponential rate at this point. Technology knowledge is now doubling every 11 months. So it's really impossible for schools to say, here are the facts that you need to know, 1066, Battle of Hastings, whatever, divide it up into the 12 years of school, spin it out to the students, have them regurgitate it back on the tests, and actually be prepared for what they are going to have to face, because they're going to have to work with new knowledge that hasn't been invented yet. So this ought to mean a dramatic change in the way we think about curriculum, teaching, and assessment.
From a biological perspective, education has always been something that children do for themselves. They come into the world biologically designed to figure it out, to learn what it is that they need to learn to grow effectively into adulthood. They simply, by nature, look around and say, these are the things that are important to learn, and so they play in those ways.
When I play, my brain is inspired by what I'm doing.
When I play, I sort of get to know myself better.
Like when you're learning, your brain kind of goes bop, 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 because you keep on thinking more ideas. It's kind of like when you're learning, you start connecting to different things that you might want to do. Like you might want to research that thing or tell other people about it, kind of spread the news.
You're engaged in the conversation that's happening.
Sometimes when you're really excited that you're going to get to learn about this one thing that you really want to be learning to, I guess your brain goes into like a state of shock. You're like, yes, finally, I've been waiting for this all year, and you're just so excited that you don't care what you're doing during outdoor break or lunch. You're just like, oh yay, math is coming, science is coming, history is coming. Yes, I can't wait.
Your brain sort of clicks into a mode where it's only you and your work, and now and again a friend or a teacher. You just want to keep going until you're done, and then you want more.
Imagine what school would be if the focus of school was not test scores, was not preparation for grades, but it was creating work that's meaningful, valuable, beautiful, important work. And when I use the word beautiful work, I don't just mean beautiful aesthetically. I mean beautiful mathematical work, beautiful scientific work, beautiful work in history, in language, in every field. And also acts of kindness and consequence in the world, work that matters in the world. So acts of beauty and work of beauty.
Creating works of excellence starts with inspiring students.
Welcome to the second grade expedition celebration. Today, we are celebrating months of hard work and are premiering our ebook, Slithering Snake Stories.
High-quality reading, writing, and speaking happen when kids feel passion and purpose for their studies. In second grade, at Conservatory Lab Charter School in Boston, Massachusetts, students research snakes for their study called Don't Be Scared, The Truth About Snakes.
Look at her tail. What did you notice about her tail, Isaac?
It's round and short.
When student learning results in high-quality products, there's a deeper level of effort and engagement.
This year we decided to create an audio ebook called Slithering Snake Stories. Each student authored their own page in the book featuring a unique snake, their narrative nonfiction story full of scientific facts with the scientifically accurate illustrations of the snake.
Critique after critique, finally, our snakes began to look scientifically accurate.
I believe that creating beautiful and complex work is the most powerful thing we can do with students. It transforms their sense of who they are as scholars and as people. And it's what inspires them to take on challenge like the Common Core or beyond. It's what motivates them to dig deep to create something of value.
last year we had this inquiry project that we started building using money and budgeting to create this whole selling of a product. And you really have to thought of like the money process, which others would say was math, the science product, like creating the whole product itself, like understanding each single part of it, and then presenting it, like making it visually appealing for people to be interested in.
We have to ask an open-ended question and then find a way to integrate all our subjects and all our learning into that question to solve it ourselves. And it will lead to many more questions that we need to solve inside of that to have our big projects. I've chosen the discipline of lighting design, and my question is, how can we use lighting design and color psychology to assist in and enhance learning for all students? So basically science came into that with the color psychology and how it affects your brain, and just a couple days ago I needed to use math skills to figure out how far light travels and how soon it spreads out.
You're not only learning the basics that you should be learning through, let's say, your curriculum, but you're also getting the big picture and a bigger perspective of more than just the basics.
When I'm interested in something, I really try hard to make it pop, because I want people to know that I did this, I was proud of it, and I was happy doing it too.
If you don't have the passion for something in this project, you're not going to be able to complete the same level of work that you would if you do have the passion.
This is a really amazing space for me. I've sort of found a home here. Regular school didn't suit me, it didn't work at all. But the amazing part about this school is it's chaotic but completely organized at the same time.
I think what it does is promotes an environment where everyone is a teacher and everyone is a learner, and moving away from a hierarchical notion of, or more patriarchal, right? Like we're older so we know everything, and moving more into a model that acknowledges that children have as much to teach adults as adults have to teach kids.
It's about creating an ecology, creating an environment where the variety of folks that are there, and it includes the adults that are there as well, can continue to learn and grow and to really reflect on who they are and who they wish to become, and then support them in that journey.
I love how it's just so accepting, and I can be myself and kind of follow my dreams.
Every child and youth that goes to that school is respectfully given a place to belong.
What VCS did is it liberated me. It liberates you to have friends, it liberates you to have opportunities. There's mentors that come in. The kids get a choice. The kids get to run their own education.
One of the things I love about Vernon Community School is that difference is the norm. And so students are encouraged to grow and be themselves, and then learning emerges from that. So you won't see all the students doing the same thing. You'll see them either interpreting a task in a way that makes sense for them, or making choices around which mentors to work with based on passions and interests they have.
It's my first year here, and within I think the first 2 weeks, I was accepted. I had like 3 different friends. I was accepted in the community. A lot of times in the old system, it just restricted my thinking, restricted my happiness, whereas here, honestly, it's a miracle for me, and especially my parents, because yes, I do have autism, but guess what? Does that mean that I should be thrown out? No, it just means I was born with something else. I was born with a special ability to think differently, what they call the average. But that's what VCS is doing. They're changing the average.
Every child is unique, and Kim and Murray are very much attentive to getting to know who that person is and what they bring and what their gifts are and what their strengths are.
Kim and Murray are more of like guiders. They guide us to do things that we like instead of telling us what to do.
The job of the students is to try to learn who they are really and what they want to do for when they're older and what their passion is and what they want to work on.
The design is always creating a space for students to be designers, creators, explorers, and then most importantly, communicators. So critical thinking and creative thinking happen within this work, but it has to be something that students are deriving and creating. And then the support from the teachers and the other peers comes within that process of inquiring, documenting, researching, exploring, working with community members and mentors, and then synthesizing learning to communicate with others.
Just inspires me to say, well, guess what? They're my dreams. What if I can make them come true?
As educator Robert John Meehan notes, the most valuable resource that all teachers have is each other. Without collaboration, our growth is limited to our own perspectives. At NRP, being part of a learning community means you are part of one of 9 learning teams. Staff co-plan, co-teach, and co-learn with a team of 4 to 6 staff members, and students do the same with a team ranging from 60 to 120 learners. I began to more fully understand the social nature of learning, how working in a learning community nudges the learning agenda and creates learning experiences that are beyond the capability of any one teacher. Unlike individual classrooms that vary in what's offered by teachers from room to room, a learning community model creates equity for learners by allowing everyone in the community to experience the best of each staff member.
I have to say that we think of our community as a whole collective of 72 students. I don't see them as 24, 24, 24. It is a group of 72 students with 4 teachers as part of that community. And we are happy to mix those children up in any grouping size. And we are happy to interchange teaching spaces. We work with all the children, and the children see all 4 of us as equal parts in their education.
We have 4 teachers assigned to the Grade 8 Academy. We have a social studies English specialist. We have a science specialist, and I'm the math specialist. And we have a built-in learning resource teacher.
And we work together with all the kids to create interdisciplinary, inquiry-based learning. We do a lot of collaboration. Everything that we do works to create a sense of community for the kids.
It started with our student services team looking at the success of our Aboriginal students. And we took our failure list one day and we highlighted all of the students who were failing. And when we cross-referenced those, we noticed that it was a lot of our Aboriginal students. And a lot of grade 8s and 9s. In grade 10, 11, 12, you weren't seeing a lot of highlights. And it wasn't because we had fixed the problem, it was because the students were no longer here. So we noticed that we had a problem with losing students, predominantly Aboriginal students in grade 8 and 9, and we knew we had to do something about it.
I approached the principal at the time and said, what if we just try something totally crazy? And so the conversation happened with a core group of staff, and we kind of evolved into where the program's at today with all of our English students participating in an integrated model with all their core subject areas.
It is a constantly evolving thing. It depends on many factors, the students that we have, where they're at, as well as whether or not we think that it worked well last year. So it's a highly reflective program.
One of the biggest hurdles we had was around timetabling, and we basically just had to say, forget it. We know it's going to cause all kinds of problems, but we're just committed to doing what's best for kids.
The fact that I also get to see other teachers teach every single day has in turn made me a better teacher.
The academy is really different because I would be at this school, they call it embedded. So I'm in the classroom with the kids, with the teachers, helping design the lessons in a way so that the students with special needs didn't feel stigmatized or pointed out in any way. And then I was actually in the classroom helping those lessons be delivered so I could actually see how it was working. And the students also saw me as a teacher, as part of the team, as opposed to this strange person that was only there sometimes.
The thing that we noticed the most, though, was that we were getting to know our grade 8s really well. And they had a lot of adults who cared about them, worked closely with them, and I think that's been the key thing to make the difference.